What's up, K&R Squad? It's your boy Badman Reafe.
And your girl Kristen. And today it's sort of a different video because I want to talk to you guys about a disease that I have been dealing with for most of my life. And I've only just found out about it recently, and there's no cure.
And guys, look, we've been getting tons of messages on our recent video that we posted, and also I've been getting crazy DMs about like, hey, what's going on with Kristen? And basically I asked her, do you feel like you should answer these individually, or do you want to address the whole thing at once? And she said it's probably best that she addresses it for those who don't know what's going on with her.
Because I do feel like a lot of you have heard me talk about it before, but then some of you who are new might just be like, what is going on? Yeah. Because essentially this disease has been affecting me more so recently than it has in the past. And as time goes on, obviously it's going to affect me even more and more. So I thought bringing it to the table now would make sense so that a lot of you can understand what it is and why it's like that moving forward.
What if I put a ring on you? What if I put a ring on you? Right now, don't let me wait for you. You know that my love is true. Something about the way you move, I wanna escape with you. The way that you touching my body, I know it, I know it. You making me wanna get down on one knee and propose it. So I told her right now, we should go ahead and get married right now.
So guys, I just want to start off by saying that a disease does not define a person. Listen,
it doesn't.
You define your own self, okay? So I do want to let you guys know that I have an autoimmune disease, and that is called psoriasis. Now, I've mentioned it before, like I said, but some of you guys don't know. Some of you are still confused and wondering, sort of concerned about why I have what I have. So essentially I have psoriasis at the back of my head, and I will show you guys that in a second. But I do want to talk about what psoriasis means because I have my own definition, but I feel like I should probably give the actual definition as to what it is.
And so, I have my definition of
yes,
what it is.
Yes.
Because I like messing around with it.
Yeah. So psoriasis is a skin disease that causes red, itchy, scaly patches, most commonly on the knees, the elbows, the trunk, and the scalp. So I have it on the scalp, obviously, but on the lower portion, and it's sort of making its way up. So I'm going to show you guys a clip of what it looks like.
So this is the back of her head. As you guys can see, psoriasis is all over here. It goes up here. It goes around here as well. Now here is red. I don't know if you guys can tell, but it's a little red here, and sometimes it's even more red when she scratches it. But essentially, if she was to take her hair out of this bun, you would see that it's going all the way up here. Baby, do you want to take out that little bun and let's show them? As you guys can see, if she moves her hair, it goes all the way up. You guys can see it. It's at this point right now. So it's traveling all the way up. And
how far is it right now?
It's actually to right here right now.
Okay.
It's not as bad over here.
Is it like the same distance in every angle, or?
In every angle, it's the same distance.
This is without oil, without any topical treatment. So this is what it looks like raw.
This is it raw.
So psoriasis is a common long-term chronic disease with no cure. It tends to go through cycles, flaring for a few weeks or months and then subsiding for a while or going into remission. With me, I feel like it's here all of the time.
All the time.
Like it doesn't have a remission stage. Although when we did go on vacation, I think it was last year.
Right. It healed up a bit. And
yeah.
we thought that it was the salt water or the sun. And we're like, the sun probably super helped you out.
Yeah.
Or was it the salt water? I think it was the salt water. And all of a sudden, it was like, wow. And as soon as we got back home, it came back.
Right back.
Even worse.
So I want to tell you guys about how I noticed this, how it all started, and where I'm at today. When I was actually in high school, I shared a room with my sister, my younger sister, and we had bunk beds. I was on the lower portion and she was on the top. And it was one day I was on the lower portion and I kind of like raised my head up, or I was trying to stand up, and I did it in the wrong way, and the back of my head hit the top of the bunk bed. And it left like a cut, and I would always pick at it. And then it became a scar, and then I was like, ugh, I don't like this scar. So I started picking at the scar, and it essentially just never healed.
She picks at everything, let me tell you. If I tell her, baby, scratch my back, and you see a little scab on there, she's picking that scab off. I'm like, yo,
it has to go. Yeah. So then in high school, I would always remember picking it. Just picking it, and it became like a habit, a routine for me. And I would do that for years, you guys. Until one day I noticed that it started to spread. And it really got like scaly and red, and like there was white patches. And I was thinking to myself, like, what is this? And I never knew until I really thought about it, looked back, and was like, I did this to myself. Now, I don't know if this is the exact cause, but it's the only thing that makes sense to me, and that's where it stemmed from.
So you think basically picking at your cut turned into psoriasis?
So I want to go through some of the causes of psoriasis because it really makes sense to me. So many people who are predisposed to psoriasis may be free of symptoms for years until the disease is triggered by some environmental factor. Common psoriasis triggers include infections such as strep throat or skin infections, weather, especially cold, dry conditions.
Canada.
Which would make sense as to why we were in a different country that was hot.
And it was gone.
And then we came back here and it got worse. Stress, smoking and exposure to secondhand smoke, heavy alcohol consumption, certain medications, and then rapid withdrawal or oral or systemic corticosteroids. So I really think that part about having a skin infection, like that cut, probably turned into an infection
right,
and caused the psoriasis. And then also being in a dry, cold climate. I feel like I'm just in the battlefield right now.
Right.
You know what I mean?
She got the worst of the worst, basically.
Yes. So I believe it started in high school, and I've lived with it for the most of my life. So it was never as bad as it is now. That's how psoriasis usually works. So it'll start small, it'll gradually get bigger. Sometimes some people don't experience it getting larger at all, but I am. So before it was just a little patch, it was dry, it was red. Now it's sort of like encompassing the back of my neck.
And it started to move up.
Yeah.
You know, up her head back all the way probably to up here.
So it gradually just got worse. And so essentially all the way from high school till now, up until recently, I didn't think anything of it. I just left it alone. I was like, this is just what I'm living with in the back of my head. Maybe it's eczema, maybe it's just a rash, maybe it's just a dry scalp. Until it got a lot worse. And I mentioned it to him. I was like, you know, this thing at the back of my head is really making me upset. And it's affecting me so much, and people are seeing it, and I don't want people to see it, right? Before I was able to like hide it with my hair like that, but now it's just so visible that I can't really do that. And I remember I would ask you, like, can you take photos?
Yeah, I took photos. She's conscious of it and stuff like that. So, and she scratches it. It's all over her shirt.
Yeah, when I scratch it, you guys, because it's so itchy. So there's like white flakes that will come down, and it's skin, obviously. But I just can't help it sometimes. So last year I went to the doctors to find out about it, and I was praying and hoping it was just some sort of dry scalp issue or infection that I could take care of with a simple pill and gone.
Done.
But I walked into the doctor's office. I said, I've been experiencing these scalp issues. It's growing, it's dry, it's itchy. I need help. He took one look at the back of my head and he said, oh dear.
Yeah, one look.
It's psoriasis.
He knew what it was.
Yeah. So that was my biggest fear at the time, because I did a lot of research on it, and I was like, I don't think I have psoriasis because it doesn't typically get too red. It's more so just dry and scaly.
And also was like a lot of people have it on their arms, you know,
Yeah.
their hands, and she was only experiencing the back of her head. So we're kind of like, okay, maybe it's not. We're praying that it wasn't. Come to find out that it is, but I'm
Yes.
actually grateful that it's not all over.
Yeah.
You know.
But essentially, the doctor told me that it can actually spread, but I'm lucky right now because it's just in the back of my head. And that's why I was hoping it wasn't psoriasis, because there is that chance of it spreading, and also because there's no cure. And so what he prescribed to me was, I can't really turn this bottle around because it has my address and personal information, but it's called taro clobetasol, and essentially it's just a topical ointment. I think he said to use it once or twice a day, but at first I was skeptical of using it, because apparently this ointment can seep into your brain and have like a whole bunch of negative effects. But I did use it because I was trying to get rid of it.
But like she was like, no, I can't use it too often because it's gonna seep into my brain. And I was more like, baby, you gotta take this, you gotta use it. And then she's like, no, I don't want to use too much. I want to just, you know what I mean? Because I would be scared too. Like, what do you mean it seeps into your? The doctor fully told her, like, yeah,
if you use too
much, it can seep into your brain. So once we heard that, we're like, okay, we need to just scale it back. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Essentially, I don't use it anymore. So the bottle is typically just full on a regular basis. I'm just staring at it, it's staring at me, and it's like, are you going to use me? And I'm like, no. So, you know, I've been researching, I've been trying to find different ways that I could deal with psoriasis. A lot of people say you have to kill it from the inside out. So, like, they'll say things like, you know, consume almond oil or put oil in your, like, salads and things like that. And I don't know if that works because it hasn't been proven to work. So if you guys have any recommendations, let me know down below. But I've been living with this. You guys have noticed it. Reafe has done messages about it.
Tons of messages recently, because our recent video that we did,
yeah, in the car,
the prank that I did when it was snowing, the snowstorm, and I had them walk outside. She had turned around, and you can see the white at the back of her head. Even if she turns right now, you can kind of see it.
Yeah.
Unless we kind of like, you know, what would we put on it? Like normally, just what do you call it?
So I put like coconut oil or almond oil, but the reason I don't like to do that so much is because once I put oil in the back of my head, it essentially makes my whole head oily, and then it's like I have to wash my hair more often than I already do, and I don't like to do that too much because it's not good for the hair. So I don't want my whole head to be greasy. So sometimes I just leave it, and that's when you see it, right? That's when it becomes more apparent. In the videos you don't see it, I probably covered it up with some oil or something like that, and yeah.
So a lot of you guys been asking, sending pictures like, hey, what is going on? Is this soap in the back of her head?
Yeah.
Or what is this?
Why does she have gray hair?
Why does she have gray hair? Like, it's like, yo, what? So we're just addressing the situation now.
Yes. And I'll show you guys some pictures of what it looks like in different stages. Like, so sometimes I'll cover it up with oil. Sometimes I'll leave it dry. Sometimes I would use like psoriasis shampoo.
We did try to use what's that vinegar thing that we use?
Apple cider.
We did apple cider vinegar, and you know that helped for a bit. But then they were saying it was burning it, and it didn't look pretty at all. It looked really bad. And I think we do have a picture of that as well, so we can insert that.
Like it helps the situation back there, but it also burns.
Is the burning a part of the healing process? Because we don't know. We need anybody who has been dealing with this, what you use to cure it, just to help us out, because we're definitely like we can't use that.
No.
You know, if it's seeping into the brain, we don't want to be using that. So
So sometimes even just throwing my hair up in a bun, like most people do, I'm so conscious of that and like nervous, because the way psoriasis works, because it's an immune issue, what happens is the skin regenerates faster than it's actually supposed to. So the skin at the back of my head is just building up and building up and building up and growing on top of each other. So even if I do put my hair in a bun or a pony, that skin is constantly growing over itself. So throughout the day, it'll just get more dry and more scaly. And I'm like, Reafe, is the back of my head bad? Is it showing? Because I get so conscious about it. And so, I mean, if you guys see it in the video, that's exactly what's happening, right? Like if you're seeing that white, I either didn't put oil on it or it's just growing on top of itself. Like just tell it to stop. I've been trying to tell it to stop, but it doesn't want to stop. You know what I mean?
And guys, listen, man, I be trying my best to help her, but you know, she be itching it, and then I'm like, yo, I don't want you to put that on me because I ain't trying to get that, you know what I'm saying?
First of all, it's not contagious. I had to explain that to him so many times. I'm like, babe, you are not going to catch this. It's
you know what I'm saying?
Contagious.
I'm like, yo, the other day I was laying on her pillow and then I was like, oh shit, I forgot. Like, just messing around with her and shit. But
yeah, exactly. He makes jokes about it. But essentially, I would love to find a cure for this. I know there is none at the moment. I mean, maybe in the years to come, technology will just find a way to cure psoriasis. Science will find a way. There might be a medication. Who knows? But for right now, this is what I'm dealing with. This is what we're dealing with. Yeah. And
just be mindful, guys. You know what I mean? Like, some of you guys just going crazy in the comments, like, yo, what is that shit in the back of her head? Da, da, da. Like, you never know what people are going through. This is a condition she's been dealing with, has to deal with it for the rest of her life.
Yep.
And hopefully it doesn't get any worse. We're praying for that.
I hope it doesn't grow to the top of my head, where you guys can, like, it'll be apparent
up there
at the front of the hairline. You know what I mean?
And it can. That's the possibility. And it's like, it's moving. It's traveling really fast from where it was. We try to treat it every day. But again, you can't help something that's just regrowing itself like fast, rapidly. Like, what are we supposed to do? So anybody knows, please just let us know.
Yes, we would appreciate it. I hope you guys, I guess, learned something new, or maybe you have someone that can relate to this. Maybe you can relate to this. Share your thoughts down below. I'd love to read every single comment. We love you guys, and I guess we will see you in the next video. We out.
We should go ahead and get married. We should go ahead and get married. I don't wanna put a rush on you. Hope I ain't putting too much on you. Way more than a crush on you. And you love it when I touch on you. You up and wine, take time,